Hello and welcome to the Prologue episode for my new Counter-Strike series I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to be going over the options menu and the HUD. So if you already know what you're doing in that sense, you can just go ahead and skip this video to the official first episode. But I feel like this needs to be gone through in case there's some new players who don't really know how to take advantage fully of their options settings. So first I would like to direct your attention to the top left. That is the radar. You can modify the size of the radar. You can modify the zoom of the radar so that you can see more or less of the map inside it at any time. Then at the bottom left you have your health, which you can have on two settings. You can have it on simple or default. Default will have little health bars and armor bars next to the number, which I find unnecessary, so I have it on simple. And if you have it on default, it also on the bottom right has like little ammo shells, bullet casings that kind of roll off the screen as you're shooting. Kind of unnecessary, takes up space for no reason, so I have that set on simple. Then you can turn off your inventory, which is also displayed on the bottom right. And then on the bottom middle of my screen is where I have my scoreboard set to show. I prefer to have it on the bottom myself because if it's on the top of the screen, which is where it is on default, you just kind of have to look around the screen more. I prefer to have it on the bottom next to my health and ammo so that I can easily get all the information at once instead of having to look around the screen unnecessarily. So that's kind of like a little rundown, but I'm going to go in the options and show you everything I'm talking about here. You can change your max acceptable matchmaking ping. If I were you, I'd have this to set to 80 or lower. More around 60 is definitely preferable, but sometimes it takes a long time to get a match that way, so 80 or less. Unless you live out in fucking Siberia, then you'd probably, if you're wanting to play at all, you're just gonna have to set that bitch to maximum. I wish you could turn off Steam notifications from here so that you could just have it turned off for this game specifically, but the only way you can do that is by going to the Steam settings and it'll turn it off for every game, which is inconvenient, but whatever. You got your crosshair style and your crosshair color. I'm not going to really get into that because there's several other videos that are better at it, but I'm just going to say you're probably going to want classic static. Then you can change your color, or you can do custom settings for your colors. You've got your HUD scale, which changes the overall size of the HUD elements. Everything from the scoreboard to the radar, your health, changes all of that. Just the size, I have mine on 0.75. If you put it all the way, it's pretty fucking massive. So somewhere in near the middle would be good, I would say. If you have it all the way down, it's also impossible to fucking read, so anywhere in this general location is good. You change the color. Unfortunately, you can't do RGB settings like you can with your crosshair, but they do provide a good amount of options. I don't know why they didn't include a matching crosshair color for each one of these HUD colors. Makes no fucking sense. Valve, why did you decide to do that? I don't know why, but it's what you gotta work with, I guess. You can change the background alpha, which is the little black shading behind my health and ammunition. And it's kind of behind your weapon selection as well, but you can change your alpha, which is just the transparency. I prefer to have mine at the maximum to where it's most visible, but you can pretty much, I think at the bottom it's pretty much off, so that's an option if you don't want that in your face. Then there's the health and ammo style, like I was saying. You can have it on default or simple. I'd prefer simple. bomb HUD position, you can have it show whether or not you're carrying the bomb currently under the radar. I have it to where it shows it in my inventory because you don't really need to have it under your radar. You pretty much know if you have the bomb if you have it. Then there's where I've got my mini scoreboard set to display at the bottom of my screen. You can do top, but it's personal preference. And then you can change it to where it shows the player count or shows avatars. I would recommend avatars because that also displays that player's color, and then you can see where they are on the map, and it's just better overall. That's where you select whether or not you want each player to be assigned a color at the beginning of the match. I would say you should do this, especially if you're playing with a consistent team, but personal preference once again. Switch weapon on pickup. This is where if you obviously pick up a weapon, it'll automatically switch to that weapon, or it will not. I have mine set to yes so that I can easily press G when I walk over a weapon I want to pick up, and it'll just immediately put me on that weapon. View model position. This changes right here where my gun view model is. You can have 3 settings. Couch brings it up to where it's more of like a Call of Duty, modern shooter, console game display. I prefer desktop or couch, or no, desktop or classic, because they take up less of the screen and they don't, your gun doesn't look fucking huge. Like if you have couch, my fucking USP looks like a Desert Eagle right now. So I prefer desktop or classic. Desktop is what I'm currently using now. You can change it to where it will not always display your inventory. I just do because it doesn't take up that much of the screen. Change your buy menu options. Right here's where your radar HUD size is. That changes how big the radar is overall. You can turn off rotation for the radar, and then radar map zoom is what I was talking about earlier, where if you set it at 1, it will zoom the map way in and you can't really see that far on the map. I would never recommend having it on that setting because you need to be able to see at least halfway across the map, in all honesty, to be able to effectively maneuver the map and make tactical decisions based on your knowledge of where the enemy team is located. So I would say have it at least at 0.6. That's pretty good. It gives you a nice zoomed out view. This isn't quite half. Oh shit, I changed the color of my crosshair. Oh well. I personally use 0.5. You can also go down to 0.25, which you can see the entire map. I'm pretty sure you can see the entire map on any map. The only real disadvantage to this is that it's kind of hard to tell exactly where the enemy is. For example, if they were at A right now, I couldn't really tell if they were in library or apartments or on bomb site. I mean, I could, but it's just not easy enough to tell, I guess you would say. So I use 0.5, but that's up to your decision. Toggle shape with scoreboard. I don't even know what that is. What is that? If set to yes, the radar will toggle to square and display the whole map when scoreboard is visible. I think that's only when you're dead, but I'm not sure. So that's pretty much all of the options. I mean, there's the custom crosshair settings, which I don't really want to go over. I'll go over mine real quick, just in case you want to have a little dot like I have here. I have my crosshair settings. I've got draw outline turned on, and the outline thickness is 1. I've got my crosshair thickness itself at 1.4. I've got my gap at -5, and I've got my size at 1. And then I'm going to change my color back. I had it at 4, I think. No, I think I had it at 5. Yes, I had my crosshair color at 5, which is custom, and then you can go in and change all the colors with the RGB right here. From 0 to 255, that'll give you the colors you desire. Pretty much anything. And I've got my crosshair style at, style at 4, which is the static classic, I believe that's correct. So that's pretty much it. That's all you really need to know about going through the settings. This is, it's not entirely necessary to your survival in this game, but it really will make a huge difference, especially if you, I don't know what the default zoom is for the radar, but it makes a huge difference in how much you know is going on just by being able to see more of the radar. So I decided to go through it, and that's pretty much it. I'm just rambling on now, so thanks for watching. I'll be recording the official first episode with none of this rambling bullshit immediately after I upload this, so there you go.